Pain is a part of every life. There is no path without difficulty, no achievement without hardship, no growth without discomfort. Pain visits the strong and the weak, the wise and the unwise. It is not personal. It is inevitable. And in the teachings of the Stoics, pain is a tool, a teacher, a forge. This video is not about escaping pain. It is about learning to meet it with composure. It is about rising through it, being refined by it, and letting it shape you into someone stronger. The Stoics did not promise comfort. They promised clarity. They taught that character is revealed through trials, that your response is the measure of who you are. This video is divided into chapters, each one building a mindset of strength and resilience. You will not find abstract theories here. You will find practical truths. You will find the enduring wisdom of Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and others who faced great suffering and remained whole. Let this be a guide for the moments when life weighs heavy. Let it remind you that suffering is not a sentence. It is a season, and in every season, you have the power to decide what kind of person you become. I'm confident you'll find this Stoic wisdom valuable. Like, share, and subscribe for more timeless insights. Let us begin. Chapter 1. The nature of pain. Pain is a signal. Tells you that something matters. The Stoics taught that pain is not the problem. It is your judgment about pain that causes distress. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." This insight is essential. Physical pain and emotional pain are realities that will arise throughout life. No one is exempt from illness, loss, disappointment, or stress. These forms of pain cannot always be prevented. What can be shaped is the meaning we attach to them and the way we move through them. Suffering is not fixed. It takes shape through interpretation. When pain is judged as unfair, undeserved, or meaningless, resentment builds. That resentment deepens the suffering. When pain is viewed as something to be learned from, it becomes a test of resilience. It becomes part of a process of becoming wiser and more stable. How you understand the pain you face determines whether it drains you or strengthens you. The mind requires discipline to handle pain properly. Just as the body responds to physical stress by building endurance, the mind must respond to emotional stress by becoming more aware and deliberate. This growth does not happen automatically. It comes through practice. When discomfort rises, resist the urge to escape it immediately. Sit with it. Let it inform you. Ask yourself what this experience is uncovering. Ask what habit, belief, or desire is being exposed. Pain often shows you your attachments. It brings to light the things you have come to depend on for stability or identity. If you feel crushed by criticism, it may show that your sense of worth is dependent on praise. If rejection devastates you, it may show that your peace depends on validation. If discomfort feels unbearable, it may show that you have placed too much trust in comfort. These insights are not always pleasant, but they are useful. They help you identify areas where you have misplaced control. The Stoics taught that you must return the focus inward. When pain arises, bring your attention back to what you can govern: your thoughts, your choices, and your principles. Do not chase control where there is none. Anchor yourself in the inner domain where your influence remains firm. This redirection is not instant. It takes repetition, but over time it changes how you respond. There is no requirement to fear pain. There is a requirement to face it with courage. Let it strip away the surface. Let it show you what you must confront within yourself. Let it expose the illusions you have held on to, the false measures of strength or happiness. This is the beginning of renewal. Pain that is faced with awareness becomes a source of correction. It becomes a source of truth. Growth begins where avoidance ends. Avoidance delays understanding. It creates a habit of running from the very moments that could strengthen you. When you stop resisting pain and begin to observe it, you create space for renewal. Pain marks the edge of your comfort zone, and it is often at that edge where meaningful development starts. It pushes you to reflect, to adapt, and to act with more purpose. Pain does not offer comfort, but it does offer clarity. It brings into focus the habits, attachments, and expectations that are no longer useful. In this clarity, you gain the opportunity to rebuild your life on more stable ground. With every new hardship, there is a fork in the path. You can allow the situation to shape your behavior in reaction, or you can let the challenge realign you with what matters most. When you reflect on what kind of person you want to be, even in difficulty, you set a standard. You can choose to slow down when the pressure rises. You can choose patience when you feel frustration building. You can choose to learn when your first impulse is to complain. These are not one-time choices. They are repeated acts of discipline. Each repetition strengthens the connection between your values and your behavior. Over time, these patterns create resilience. Composure is not created by chance. It is practiced in moments of tension. When you train yourself to stay steady during stress, you build trust in your ability to respond wisely. Choosing understanding means recognizing that pain is often a sign that something within you needs attention. Could be a belief, a fear, or a past wound. Investigating these patterns helps you avoid repeating them. Pain becomes a source of insight rather than a cycle of reaction. To grow from pain, you do not need complicated strategies. You need honesty and steady attention. Growth begins with awareness of your thoughts, actions, and choices under pressure. Presence allows you to notice when your mind wants to escape or assign blame. Perspective allows you to step back and examine the bigger picture. You may not be able to remove the pain, but you can adjust your response and align it with who you want to become. Stay close to what is within reach. That includes your ability to slow your breath, to pause before responding, to speak with clarity, and to act with self-respect. These small actions form the foundation for long-term growth. They remind you that you are not powerless. You have tools, you have choices. Your reason, your values, and your willingness to learn are always available to you, even in difficulty. These qualities transform pain into direction. They give hardship a shape that supports your development instead of distorting it. Pain becomes meaningful when you use it to refine your character. When it shows you what you are capable of handling, you begin to carry yourself with quiet strength. The path to inner power is built through these repeated efforts. It is not instant and it is not easy, but it is available to anyone who is willing to meet pain with clarity and purpose. This kind of power cannot be taken by misfortune. It is built by choice and maintained by habit. Dignity is the visible result of that inner strength. It is the visible posture of a soul that has trained itself to act with clarity and purpose. When the world is unsteady, your example matters more. When life is painful, your conduct matters most. Let your dignity become the quiet strength others remember. Let it be the standard you return to again and again as the anchor that keeps your character whole. Chapter 5. Pain and Purpose. Pain can strip away distractions, can reveal what matters. It narrows your focus. When everything is easy, it is tempting to scatter your attention across comfort, opinion, and convenience. When pain strikes, your attention becomes sharper. The unnecessary fades. What remains are the people, values, and goals that carry meaning. In the Stoic view, pain clarifies, cuts through illusion. It removes the false priorities that accumulate over time. It forces reflection. It brings you back to essential questions. It interrupts routine and asks you to evaluate whether your actions reflect what you truly believe. Pain invites a deeper alignment with your principles. In moments of suffering, you are less likely to act on impulse. You begin to ask whether your behavior matches the values you claim to hold. You start to examine how you have been living and whether that life supports the kind of person you want to be. This reflection is difficult, but it is useful. It resets your path. It helps you find direction when you feel lost. When you suffer, ask, what is this showing me about my values? What am I holding on to that no longer serves me? What matters so much that it hurts when it is threatened? These questions do not eliminate the pain, but they bring structure to it. They help you locate the lesson within the discomfort. They bring you back to your center, the part of you that is governed by principle rather than emotion. In that place, clarity becomes possible. The purpose of life is not comfort. The Stoics were clear on this. The goal is not to avoid pain or difficulty. The goal is to become someone capable of meeting those conditions with strength and wisdom. The aim is to live with excellence, to develop virtue, to make choices that reflect courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom. Pain reminds you of this by removing what does not matter. It brings urgency. It reminds you that your time is limited, that your actions have weight, that your habits shape who you become. When life becomes too easy, there is a risk of drifting. You may begin to operate on autopilot. Days pass without intention. Challenges seem distant. You rely more on comfort than on effort. Without struggle, there is little urgency to examine your priorities. There is less pressure to develop discipline. A life without hardship can reduce the need to sharpen your judgment or revisit your values. Without friction, momentum takes over and you stop steering your direction with clarity. Pain stops that drift. It interrupts passivity, pulls your attention away from distractions, and forces you to engage with what is real. Pain demands that you examine your circumstances closely. It makes you question your habits, your mindset, and your reactions. You must respond. Avoidance no longer works. You are called to make choices with more focus. You are required to engage actively with your life. Pain closes the gap between what you believe and what you actually do. Pain also sets boundaries. It limits indulgence. It draws attention to areas that need work. When you feel discomfort, you are no longer able to ignore what needs to change. This awareness is often the first step in personal development. Pain forces action. Whether the action is physical, emotional, or mental, you are moved to evaluate your approach and correct your course. It becomes harder to rationalize poor decisions when suffering makes the consequences immediate. That response, when formed with intention, brings growth. You begin to build patterns that help you manage difficulty. You adopt habits that strengthen your ability to face future challenges. Growth does not occur by accident. It requires decision and repetition. Strength is a skill. It is built through the effort you put into your response. It forms when you take full responsibility for your behavior in hardship. It grows when you stop searching for escape and begin shaping your actions based on principle. Pain creates the environment for that growth. It sets the stage for a deeper form of strength. That strength is revealed in how you manage your time, your words, your thoughts, and your energy when things are difficult. Pain exposes what is reactive and invites what is steady. It presents the moment when beliefs must become behavior. The ideas you hold must now show themselves in how you live. The test is clear. Your conduct becomes the proof of your preparation. Let pain focus you. Let it guide your attention toward what has lasting value. Let it clarify your direction by removing unnecessary pursuits. Let it raise your standards by making you aware of what you have tolerated for too long. Let it sharpen your self-awareness by confronting you with the reality of your actions. Let that confrontation become a turning point, a moment when you shift from seeking ease towards seeking meaning, a moment when you commit to effort with intention. Purpose is not hidden in comfort. It is shaped by repeated choices. It appears when you keep moving through difficulty with clear intentions. It emerges from decision and is strengthened through endurance. Purpose does not wait for the right moment. It becomes clear through action. When pain reveals what matters, your decisions become more focused. The path becomes visible when you continue walking with commitment. Pain has the capacity to remove what weakens you. It forces you to abandon distractions and confront what is essential. It helps you see where you have been avoiding responsibility or resisting growth. It reveals the gap between what you know and what you practice. In doing so, it brings you into closer contact with your own values. If you are willing to pay attention, pain becomes a guide. It points directly to the places in your life where greater alignment is needed. It offers a chance to realign your life around clarity, honesty, and strength. What no longer supports your growth can be released. What is meaningful can be pursued with greater urgency. Through this process, pain becomes a refining force, one that shapes your direction, your habits, and your identity. Chapter 6. Emotional clarity through suffering. Pain exposes what you feel deeply. It removes layers of distraction and reveals the core of your emotional patterns. In the face of suffering, emotions rise to the surface. Anger, sadness, fear, disappointment, all become clearer. This clarity is useful. It shows you what you value. It shows you where you are reactive, where you are defensive, and where you are fragile. The Stoics did not dismiss emotion. They studied it. They treated emotions as signals, not commands. An emotion like fear signals that something important may be threatened. Anger signals a boundary may have been crossed. Sadness signals a sense of loss. These signals are valuable because they point you toward reflection. They invite you to ask, is this emotion accurate? Is it useful? Is it guiding me to act well, or is it pulling me away from reason? Emotional clarity comes from creating distance between the feeling and the action. When you are in pain, that distance becomes harder to maintain, but it is even more essential. The ability to pause, examine what you feel, and then decide how to act is the foundation of emotional discipline. That discipline is built through practice. In moments of suffering, take time to reflect. Write down what you feel. Speak it aloud in a clear and calm tone. Pay attention to your body's reactions, your breathing, your posture, your energy. Notice what sharpens your reaction and what calms it. These habits strengthen your ability to hold steady under pressure. Emotions do not make you weak. Unexamined emotions make you unstable. The Stoic trains to see emotion, acknowledge it, and then choose behavior in alignment with their principles. Through this practice, pain becomes a teacher of emotional clarity. It becomes a mirror that reflects the inner state you might otherwise overlook. When pain is used this way, it sharpens your insight. It reveals where your emotional responses are shaped by habit rather than by awareness. It brings attention to how quickly you react and whether those reactions serve your goals. The ability to step back and observe pain while it is happening creates space. In that space, you find the option to respond with purpose. Over time, this practice builds a calm and structured mindset. You begin to understand the conditions that trigger you. You start to recognize emotional patterns that have gone unchecked. This insight gives you leverage to change them. Developing the ability to observe rather than react strengthens your presence. It builds the kind of patience that is useful in high-pressure situations. You do not feel the need to resolve everything immediately. You do not rush into explanations, arguments, or withdrawal. You can hold the moment in place, examine it, and choose the timing of your next action. That timing matters. Acting too soon can escalate the problem. Waiting too long can cause avoidance. Pain teaches you to recognize the right moment to speak, to listen, or to take a step back. This level of control is rare because it takes repeated effort. It is earned through self-study and small corrections. Each time you pause, reflect, and act with clarity, you build internal trust. That trust is essential. It allows you to carry yourself through difficulty without losing your center. You begin to know yourself as someone who does not unravel under pressure. That stability becomes a form of confidence that is visible in your tone, your posture, and your decisions. Pain teaches emotional maturity. You begin to realize that emotional intensity does not equal emotional depth. Instead of seeking external validation, you learn to process and understand your emotions internally. This makes you more stable and reliable in the eyes of others. Your presence becomes a calming force during instability, not because you dominate or retreat, but because you remain grounded and composed. Through facing pain, you develop emotional clarity and strength. You respond with order, honesty, and self-awareness. Your inner world becomes more structured, supporting your conduct in all areas of life. Resilience as a daily practice. Resilience is not a fixed trait, but a capacity built through repetition. The Stoics practiced daily mental training to remain composed in adversity. This mindset expects discomfort and prepares you for it. Practices like morning reflection, physical discipline, and clear speech under pressure build endurance and consistency. Recovery is just as vital as endurance. Rest, reflection, and realignment allow you to return to balance and act with clarity. Each day, small acts of discipline, honest speech, posture control, and resisting impulsiveness build resilience into your identity. Over time, these habits form a strong, stable foundation, transforming pain into principle. Pain can lead to bitterness or wisdom, depending on your response. The Stoics turned pain into principle. By asking what pain is teaching you, you transform suffering into structure and clarity. Pain becomes a source of insight, sharpening your values and strengthening your convictions. You begin to act from principle, not emotion. Betrayal can strengthen honesty. Loss can amplify gratitude. Writing down these principles, repeating them, and living them makes them part of who you are. Pain tests your beliefs and reveals which ones are solid. Through hardship, you revise your priorities and refine your values into something lasting and true. Leadership through suffering. True leadership is forged through pain. When hardship hits, people look to those who remain calm and composed. Stoic leadership is earned through example, not title. A leader shaped by suffering is steady, consistent, and clear. They do not dominate but provide structure and ask the right questions. Their presence alone provides stability. They live with restraint, courage, and discipline, traits honed through difficulty. Such leaders are trusted not because they speak the loudest, but because they live their values under pressure. Let your suffering train you to lead with quiet strength and unwavering integrity. The final forging, integration. The final step in pain's transformation is integration, living out the wisdom and structure it has given you. Daily life is the proving ground. Mistakes and setbacks are part of the process, not signs of failure. Each misstep is a signal to return to your values. Pain becomes a guide, reminding you to stay aligned with your principles. True mastery is not perfection but direction, walking your path with greater consistency and reflection. Pain shapes your speech, posture, and presence. It helps you choose clarity over confusion, purpose over impulse. It strengthens your decisions and aligns your life. The transformation is internal, quiet but powerful. It doesn't need to be visible. It will be felt. Let pain shape you into someone grounded, steady, and resilient. Let it refine your awareness, sharpen your actions, and build a life rooted in effort, courage, and reflection.